expectations this weekend?
I'm excited about how we look. I'm excited about our defense, especially. They've had a number of fourth down stops, had a number of good, goal line stands, some strong play, a lot of turnovers in our offense. I felt like we were firing on all cylinders Saturday. So I'm excited. I'm excited moving forward.
John, we talked to you after Florida, and you mentioned that you were kind of feeling good on your knee, and you were starting to get back into it. And then the next game, you come out and score 2 touchdowns. Just how did you feel throughout the game?
I felt good. And it just comes down to when your number's called, make the play. I got my number called a couple times, and we practice stuff like this, day in and day out. So it's like almost you just kind of lose yourself. You don't get caught up in, wow, the ball's in the air. It's game time. You don't want to be too tight, it's just football. We've been playing football since we were little kids. So I just kind of did what I felt like I knew how to do.
John, you play Fordham this week, which is an FCS team, but week 1 there were 6 FCS teams that beat Division I. We all saw what happened in your hometown last Saturday. Does that sort of stuff get your attention and actually help in your preparation as far as your mindset?
I would like to say yeah. But at the end of the day, football is football, and those guys come to practice every day just like we do. There are some athletes on that team. There's a guy on the team who has like 50 tackles right now. 59 tackles through 2 games. We're not taking anybody lightly. Anybody can make a play. They can make a play. We can make plays. We just got to do what we got to do.
Does it come down to how FAU executes their game plan? And you obviously made big improvements from week 1 to week 2. Do you want to obviously continue that process?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's all about us. It's all about our preparation. We can't get too caught up. We used to call it the rat poison. We can't get too caught up in what's going on outside of what we're doing here. We just got to focus on our operation and go to work.
John, I want to go back to that second touchdown. Seems like you got matched up on a linebacker there. Is that a matchup that you kind of look at and go, I'm probably going to win this every time given my experience?
I don't want to, I hate to sound too cocky. I don't want to say that. But I will say that linebackers and safeties are better at protecting the run than they are covering. And I'm used to playing against DBs, especially our guys, the guys we used to have like Jamie and the guys we have now like Zion and Diashun and things like that. And it's different. They're different skill sets that you kind of have to attack, and I'm happy I was able to do that on Saturday.
When it comes to blocking, it's the part of the tight end position that's completely different from almost any other position on the field. How do how comfortable are you with blocking? Right
it's different. I would say it's different. I remember looking at the UF depth chart and seeing a guy who was 6'5", almost 300 pounds. It's a whole different world, just like you said. But it's my job, So I just have to, take it on the chin, do what I got to do. Go out there and do the best I can. I have people like Zaire and Austin Evans, even Jacob Paisley. The whole tight end room, I have people like that to look up to and kind of take bits and pieces of how they do it from their game, and it helps. And so I feel like it's a work in progress, and by mid-season or by the end of the season, I feel like I'll be right where I need to be.
Now that you are more a part of the blocking world, when you look at the end of the game and see that FAU has over 200 yards rushing, does that make you smile almost as much as 2 touchdown catches?
It's crazy. It's funny you say that. I actually didn't even think of that. I don't like to give myself too credit for things like that, but like you said, I guess I'm part of the line of scrimmage now, so yeah, that is something to pay attention to.
Anyone else?
I just think transferring here was it's kind of good for me, even though I took a chance and walked on. Coach T didn't give me an opportunity, I kind of just ran with it this whole spring. So.
How have the first 2 games gone, and what are you looking forward to in this next game?
The first 2 games went good. Like John said, our defense came out. Florida game, they played their game. Offense, we did good things, but we didn't finish drives. The second game, Coach T challenged us to be the offense that we know that we are, and we kind of did that. So.
Being that you said you took a chance and walked on,
Yes,
but we saw you make plays throughout camp. So I'm assuming it was not that big a surprise to you that what happened last Saturday happened as far as you getting deep.
Not necessarily. I mean, I just being patient, waiting on, like John said, when your number get called, you gotta make a play. And like you said, I've been doing it all spring. So once that play got called, I kind of knew that the ball was gonna come to me. So I was pretty much licking my chops and knew I had to run and catch the ball.
Je'Quan, you know, you're playing with the quarterback here who's been there, done that, and Cozy, and you know, how important is that for you to have a guy who's got that college experience, that big game experience?
I think it's huge for the whole offense, you know, just having a guy that had game experience that started at, you know, Power 5 school, so just coming in and being able to do what he has done for this offense, I mean, it's huge.
Would you guys say you're still in the process of, because Nicosi only got here, you know, in the summer, you're still in the process of kind of fine tuning the offense and him understanding what you guys do best and vice versa?
Most definitely. I mean, with just not just me, with all the receivers and the tight ends, I mean, we're still trying to figure out things and get things pitch perfect, so we know, like, when it's that time, we're gonna be the offense that we need to be.
Je'Quan, on your touchdown, it seemed like you probably had about 3 more steps on the DB. You know, how important is that for you to have that speed element in your game and being able to, you know, take the top off of defenses?
It's very important for me. I'm 5'9", 185. I'm not the biggest receiver, so you know you got to have top end speed to beat longer, taller cornerbacks. So I mean, just coming out of that route, digging, and just really just catching the ball. I mean, that's what's important to me because, like I said, I'm a smaller frame receiver. I play outside. I don't play in the slot, so it's typically harder for me to, you know, like. It's typically harder for me to go against a corner that's bigger than me and not perform well because I have to have speed on me. Yeah.
And having a quarterback like Nkosi Perry while you're trying to blow the top off those defenses, how is it having a guy that you'd be confident with that you could get the ball after getting past those DBs?
I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's the back end of my game, you know. So like going deep and taking somebody deep, that's me. That's what I'm supposed to do. So just having a quarterback that's going to lay it out there and put it in the right spot every time, that's very important to me.
Je'Quan, you mentioned you're 5'9" and you're playing a position that usually people who are 6'2" and 6'3" are playing. You know, what kind of goes into that? You know, playing as a smaller receiver, as the outside, because you don't really see that as often.
I just really think it's heart. Like, you got to have heart to be out there. Like, not too many can do it. You got to have speed, you got to have heart, and you got to know that you can do it, you know. I mean, typically I wouldn't, you know, go out there and be an X receiver or a Z receiver, but like I said, Coach T gave me a chance where he put me out on the field. I knew I had to make a play. I had to be that guy, so that's what I did.
Anybody else?
Raj from Georgia Southern, they're kind of running all over you guys, and obviously you guys got acclimated to that. What were some of the adjustments that you think the defense made that really contained Georgia Southern throughout the rest of the game?
Well, we had a couple missed alignments and assignments early on. Didn't execute a particular stunt the way we wanted to. So I just think once we got lined up and got used to the speed of the game, our guys were. When you play that, it's hard to simulate anything close to that, you know, speed and really execution that they do, you know, so well. It's a very concise offense that they've been running for a long time. So I thought we controlled, you know, once the first drive, just kind of misplayed a couple things. We settled down and played well. Gave them a silly 3rd and 15 quarterback counter play that, you know, in that second drive that should never happen. So we should have been off the field in that situation as well. So that was just our lack of execution. And that's the things we have to clean up as we move forward.
You go from a run-heavy team to a team that throws the ball a lot, so getting after the quarterback this week will probably give you more chances to get after the quarterback, but how important is it to get this guy off platform and off timing?
Well, he's an excellent thrower of the football. He's been playing, I think this is his 3rd year starting, so I like the way he throws the football. He's very accurate. He'll look you off and go the other way, so he does a lot of good things. He handles the football. Their run pass option reads are very good, and he's able to get out of a run play and throw it to his receiver. So they do an excellent job spreading the field. It's a little of that Art Briles, really spread from sideline to sideline type of offense where they read the box a lot to see if you're in a heavy run defense, and they'll pull the ball and throw it. So, and then their passing game will stretch it really from sideline to sideline. So you have to cover a lot of field space when you play a team like this, but then you still have to be able to protect against the run. I think the runner's done an excellent job, bouncing the football to the perimeter, and that's where, we have to be able to control the run game to get them into some obvious situations where you can try to heat them up some on third and long situations.
What were your impressions on Chase last year, from his first game back and his first game at outside linebacker?
It was good. He showed improvement again as the game went on, made some big plays for us. Just refining his skill set at that position is drastically different than it was as an inside linebacker. Understanding his alignments, understanding his footwork, technique is a big part of it. And you just can't run around and do things a certain way. So understanding how his position fits within the confines of our defense is critical, and that's going to be, that's going to be a constant for him. Learning how to play on the line of scrimmage opposed to playing, behind the defensive line.
Achilles DeRoy had a talk to us post game. He had the fumble a little late in the game, a solid game as well. Before that as well. I just kind of wanted to ask, did you see him returning to his 2019 self? I know you weren't here in 2019, but he, obviously one of the better players in that defense. Do you see him returning to that level?
Well, he's a very instinctive player. He puts a lot of time and effort into it to become a very complete player. We're asking a lot of our guys to do a lot of different things than we have, prior to us being here, and I think they enjoy that. He's an enjoyable person to coach, and he's gotten better and better, and I think he's starting to get back into where he was a couple years ago. But I think we're all trying to feel our way through what we're doing defensively and growing within the system and how it is different than what they've done before. So I think all the players are trying to understand their position on the football, especially at linebacker. That's critical. You get one guy out of position, they're gonna get a big play. So he's worked hard like the rest of them, trying to understand where they need to be.
Carter Odell's been a guy that's seen the field a lot over the past 2 weeks on special teams. What have your impressions on him been, if you have any? And is he a guy that you'd say would earn himself a spot on the defense at some point?
It's possible. He's a tremendously hard worker. He came here as a walk-on and has worked extremely hard to put himself in position to contribute in any way he can. If he continues, then sure. We have, our safety is one of our strongest positions right now, but he's backing up. He's down the line a couple spots, but he's made his way through special teams, and that's a compliment to him and his work ethic and his attitude and his effort and his passion for what he does. And anytime he gets on the field, he tries to do it the right way, and to his credit. So I would say eventually he'll hopefully get a shot to play some at safety.
Coach, speaking of safety, TJ Young is having a good start to the season. He leads the team in tackles and interceptions. What's impressed you the most from him over these past few games?
Well, there's a lot of things that impress me about TJ. I think he's an extremely aggressive player. He's an emotional guy that prepares well. I think that anytime you prepare well for a game, your opportunities to play well go up tremendously. In his preparation, I think that's a compliment to him, and for all young players to see these guys, the way they prepare, the way they practice. He practices hard every day, so there's a lot of strong characteristics that go with his ability to play well on Saturdays, and it's his preparation mainly throughout the course of the week that puts him in those positions.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
I don't think we've talked to you this fall in here. If you could just open up about how the season has gone thus far, and then expectations for this weekend.
Well, the season been going good so far. A lot of competition. Competition brings out the best in everybody. Good defensive scheme this year with Coach Stoops coming along. The season so far, we 1-1, so we back to 1-0, so that's always a good thing. We trying to go 1-0 this week. Fordham, they got a good quarterback, good offense, so we gotta just play our defense and just do us, play FAU defense.
You know, what's something from you that you want to see heading into Game 3 that maybe would improve on your game a little bit?
I want to improve on coverage. I want to be more tighter on my coverage. I feel like sometimes I get loose. So just staying tighter on the man down the field.
Defense has 4 takeaways in 2 games. That's always a big part of what you guys do. I mean, a couple of years ago, you actually led the country in takeaways. Mm-hmm. Is it getting back to that mentality, or do turnovers seem kind of random to you?
No, it's not random. Like you said, that's like a little tradition we got going on. We take pride in getting takeaways. Like every game, we try to get 3 takeaways. It'll put us in good shape to win the game. If we do that, win the turnover margin. So this week we're going to try to do the same thing, get our 3 takeaways at the least, and hopefully we get more. But try to hold up to the standard.
In the position you play, it's sort of a hybrid almost. You got to cover like you said, but you also got to come up and give good run support. Mm-hmm. Do you like that they ask you to do a lot of things because you are kind of a student of the game? Yeah,
I love that. I like playing nickel. I get, like you said, I get the cover, I get to be in the run field, I get the blitz, so I'm like all over the field, and I love that. I enjoy doing that. I like to help the team as much as I can.
Coach Taggart was saying the other day that you like to coach up the other guys. In fact, you were on the sideline the other day and somebody didn't do a check and you got upset. He goes, well, now he knows what the coaches feel like. Do you kind of feel that way sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah, but you just got to try to get it to them. Like sometimes they don't hear you, or sometimes they didn't know, so sometimes you just got to like go to them and just let them know like, hey, this is what we supposed to be doing. But yeah, I like to do that. When I watch film and stuff, it helped me do that.
I know the defense only allowed 6 points last week. It was obviously a good performance there, but is there something more you want to see from the defense as a whole, especially kind of finishing out the season?
Yeah, going in week 3, I would like us to swarm the ball more, like see a red. We used to say that back in the day. Get back to that, like all 11 hats to the ball, tagging off on the running back or whoever got the ball. And it'll cause turnovers too once we do that, because we can strip the ball more, we can do certain things like that while they hold them up. So just like whole defense getting to the ball, rallying.
Anyone else? Open up about how camp went for you. You grabbed a starting spot in camp, and then how the season's gone and expectations for this week.
I think for me, camp, it started off well. Me being a 5th-year senior here, the biggest thing that I wanted to do is make sure that I stayed locked in mentally, and just in my conduct and my behavior, just show the standard of FAU and what we have here for the younger guys. And coming into this game, we just want to be locked in. We want to be disciplined on our assignment, alignment, and just play sound football. And like Chico talked about, just forcing turnovers, be able to force the turnovers,
You were mentioning how you are a 5th-year player here at FAU. Is there any kind of pressure with that, being kind of one of the veterans on this football team?
I mean, I think pressure is all dependent on how you look at it. With your mentality, it's all, are you able to handle that, or are you anxious about it? Like, I think that's all depends on how you look at the situation that's presented before you. But it's not too much pressure for me, no.
Fordham's more of a pass-heavy team. Do you look forward to that challenge? Because if they're going to put it up a lot, there's more of an opportunity for you guys to get those turnovers?
Most definitely. Us as DBs, we want that competition. We want that opportunity to go out and get interceptions and force turnovers, man. That's probably the biggest part. Being a playmaker, we want to make plays.
And you mentioned about mentoring some of the younger guys and telling them what, you know, they need to focus on. Is one of those things never to take anybody lightly, you know, even though it's an FCS team, that kind of thing. We've seen already this season a number of those teams come in and beat Division I teams.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing is just staying locked in, because football is more mental than anything. The physical part is gonna come. That comes with hard work, but mental takes a little bit more preparation, and it's more difficult to stay focused. So you just gotta lock in and treat everybody as if they're the same.
You know, you were mentioning how being locked in is one of the more important things, you know, and we asked him before as well. Is there something from your game specifically into game 3 that you want to see improved upon within yourself?
For me, I said I want to be more of a playmaker, like Chico mentioned, swarm the ball, be around the ball more, to have more opportunities, to whether it's strip fumbles or whatever the case may be. I just want to be around the ball so I can be able to, you know, make plays more.
How big was it for you to start off the season with an interception against Florida, like being one of the first plays of that game and like the first half? How big was that for you to build the momentum for your season?
I think that was just an amazing opportunity to play in an atmosphere like that. Getting my first start in an atmosphere like that was definitely very awesome. You know, being able to start off the turnover chain in Florida is great, and I just hope to continue to keep that ball rolling and keep the momentum coming for not only me but for my other corners as well, and the defense as a whole.
Anyone else? All right.